So we're looking at two different terms here. The first one, a to the fourth power, can be written as a times a times a times a, and a squared is a times a. So if someone were to ask you what is 5 squared, it's the same thing as 5 times 5, which is 25. It's very important that you learn your squares and cubes and know how to use those. But if we were asked what is a to the fourth divided by a squared, then that would be the same thing as saying a times a times a times a divided by a times a. Now notice that the a's, one a cancels one a and one a cancels the other a. The reason why we can cancel from the numerator and denominator is because there's a multiplication in between each of the letters. Now the only thing left is a times a, which is a squared. But we can do the same thing, we can take a shorter route by just saying 4 minus 2, which is give us a squared. So notice if you have two things that have the same base, you can subtract the power of the one in the denominator from the one in the numerator. And so it gets interesting when you're dealing with, for example, let's say we have x to the 10th power divided by x to the negative 6th power. You would still need to bring that negative 6 up, and when you do that, that would become, you have x to the 10th power minus, and then that negative 6 comes up. So notice the principle says you subtract. So if you bring the negative 6 up, you now have a negative 6, and you're subtracting that. So 10 minus negative 6, which becomes 10 plus 6. So the answer to this problem would be x to the 16th. So remember, you need to know how to work with integers in all fields of mathematics. Go back and review your integers if you need to. But when a negative multiplies a negative, you get a positive. When a negative multiplies a positive, you get a negative. When a positive multiplies a positive, you get a positive. When a positive multiplies a negative, you get a negative. So a quick rundown of that. A negative times a negative is positive. A negative times a positive is negative. A positive times a negative is negative, and a positive times a positive is positive. So you will always get positive if the two signs multiplying are the same. Have a wonderful day.